Hello FlossTube, my name is Leann and I am leann.stitches here on YouTube and on Instagram. You can also find me at Forbidden Fiber Co on Instagram and Facebook. Today is Wednesday, February 14th, 2024, and this is my 36th FlossTube. It has been 6 weeks-ish since I filmed my whip parade on January 1st, and it's been almost a year since my last actual FlossTube episode, believe it or not, because the last FlossTube episode I filmed was right before I left for market, and I'm getting ready to go to market in just over 2 weeks. So it's been a while, but I have been stitching in the last 6 weeks. I've been trying to bounce back and forth between stitching and knitting, but I think I have a good bit to show you. And I also have a pile of goodies right here to distract you that's coming to market with me that I want to show you, just so you can see what we're going to have. And if there's anything that interests you, you can contact your LNS and ask them to order it for you. Anyway, it's been crazy, which is why it's taken me 6 weeks to get back to filming. Between sickness and weather, we had a week of snow and ice, just work and market prep and just all kinds of stuff. It has been hard to get a work from home day, which are the days that I'm able to film. But here I am, and like I said, I think I have a lot to show you, and let's just get right to it. The first thing I have to show you is actually, I was just about to say, like always, is my Marvel heroes, but today I have something else, and I specifically wanted to film today not only to show you that pile of market goodies, but also because since we announced it in last October, I'm calling it the Gilmore-isms SAL, and it's a Gilmore Girls inspired stitch along. And I designed a pattern using all sorts of good phrases and moments in the Gilmore Girls show. And we are we are at a point in the stitch along where I can fold it with a flat edge and show you where we're at without revealing next week's blocks. And it'll be 3 more weeks before I can show you again. So I really want to show this today. The first block dropped on January 1st, and that was Cat Kirk. And then we had Magic Risotto, 1,000 Yellow Daisies, the rocket that Logan gave to Rory at the end of season 6, I think. Williams Hardware, which if you know Gilmore Girls, you know that Luke's Diner, what used to be Williams Hardware, that was Luke's dad. Scorpio, you will meet an annoying woman today, give her coffee and she'll go away. That was the first time that Luke and Lorelai met, and she wrote that horoscope on a piece of paper and gave it to him, and he kept it for years and years and years and gave it back to her on their first date. And then I'm a big fat flincher, which is what Lorelai said during the Festival of the Living Arts. If you know, you know. Some of these are quite, vague is not the right word. They are, obscure is the word I was looking for. That took me a minute. Some of them are quite obscure. They're not the most known parts of Gilmore Girls. I have some that in this stitch along that are more well known than others. And I think I got a pretty good combination of characters and a variety of seasons and storylines, and this is just one of my most favorite things I've ever done. So if you are a Gilmore Girls fan and you haven't jumped on this wagon, there's still time. I just dropped block 7 on Monday, and block 8 will drop next Monday, and then a new block drops every Monday until March 25th, I think is the last one. But you can just get the pattern and stitch from stash. We provide all the DMC conversions. You can buy the thread pack. The fabric is called Casablanca, which is Lorelai's favorite movie. So kits, thread packs, just the pattern, whatever you wish. Come join us. It's been a lot of fun. Okay, that's enough of the marketing portion for now until we get to market stuff. Now, the next piece I had to show you is Marvel Heroes. And this is my oldest whip. I'm stitching it for my husband. I purchased it on Etsy from a shop called Popular Cross Stitch that is no longer in business. I'm sure there are other people selling this pattern. However, I'm also equally sure that it is unlicensed. Let's see, where should I put these? Let's put them over here. And also, I'm gonna apologize for my squeaky chair. It squeaked all the way through my whip parade, and I didn't know it until the end, and I swore I was gonna oil it or something before I filmed again, and I did not. So I apologize. Here is Marvel Heroes, and I'm working on this page and this partial page right here. The page goes up to about there, and I'm working from the top down. I'm working them both at the same time. And I worked a lot in her face, so you should be able to see some of her forehead and her goggles and some of her face. I did some of her suit when I wanted to do some block stitching because there is a ton of confetti and faces and hair and all of that. And so in order to make some progress, I did some block stitching as well. So I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this piece. I love it because it's so amazing. I mean, look at that. It's just so cool. But it is not Pattern Keeper compatible. The seller went out of business. And so I kind of stall out on it a lot. I am 50.5% complete. And I really want to finish this and give this to my husband. His 45th birthday is coming up in like 3 months. And he said last night when he saw it, oh, look, it's my 50th birthday present. I'd really like to get it to him before then. So hopefully I'll get some more stitches on this. I think in the last 2 months, I've gotten maybe 600 or 700 stitches on it. Not a ton, but progress is progress, right? The next piece I have to show you is Sir Thomas of Glendon Place. And I started this in, I want to say 2022 at some point. And I am now stitching with a group of women who we parted it all up into 12 different parts, and we started stitching last November, 1 part per month, and we're trying to finish it by Thanksgiving. I am almost caught up. I have stitched my January. My January piece was the head and neck and all this, and I got all of that done. But I still haven't finished this, which was my December and January block. I put too much. I had too much faith in my stitching time with all of the test knitting and model stitching and everything that I had to do. So my plan is, since I already finished February's piece, we have a Zoom call this Saturday. And so I'm just going to use that time to keep stitching this block. And then when March comes around, I'll do March's, which I think is down here. And then again, I'll use my Zoom call to go back and do that. That's my plan for now. We'll see what happens. But the group has really made me fall in love with this again, which is pretty cool because it's really fun to stitch. The next piece I have to show you is Temperature Quaker from 2023, and I don't have a printout of it, so I'll just put a graphic up here of what it's supposed to look like. And here's where I'm at. And I can't remember for sure, but I think I finished 2 of the motifs. Let's see, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. I think I finished August and September. There may have been a little July stitching in there too. I've done about 700 or 800 stitches. And this was gonna be the first piece that I tried to finish for the year. And we'll see. I kind of lost my stitchy bug on it. It sat on my Lowry stand for about a week, and I was only model stitching other stuff, and I just had no desire to work on it. And my promise to myself during my whip parade, if you watched it at the end, was that if no matter how close I was to a finish on one of my 9 pieces that I want to finish this year, if it was killing my stitchy bug, I was going to put it away, even if I only had 50 stitches left. So I still have September. No, I've done 9. I've done September. I still have October, November, and December left. But I have put it away to stitch on other things that have, you know, held my interest so that I'm actually getting some stitching done. So I think I might get back to this month and maybe at least put in October and get a little bit closer. The next piece that I'm going to show you is Anna and Elsa. I call it Frozen. I'm stitching this for my daughter Genevieve. You'll see a theme here. I'm trying to at least stitch on the pieces that I'm stitching for my family. I'm trying to stitch on them at least 2 days a month, even if I don't get many stitches in on those days, just because I would like to finish them. I started this for Genevieve 2 years ago now, maybe 3 years ago, when I finished the Beauty and the Beast for her. And so before I started stitching on it again, I think just before my whip parade, I asked her if she still wanted me to stitch it, and she said yes. She said Frozen, I still really like that movie. So I'd really like to finish it for her before she stops liking it and I have more work into it and then she decides she doesn't want it anymore. But the way I figure it, she's got Beauty and the Beast. I like Frozen too, so worst case scenario, I'll take the pieces when, you know, she doesn't want them anymore, and I'll keep them. She might want them someday. So yeah, that's on an Elsa. This is by AvroraCS. I believe she's still on Etsy. She has a lot of really good designs in this stained glass style, and they're really fun to stitch. So there's where I'm at. I started this one in the bottom, what is that, the bottom left corner? I don't know. Usually I stitch top left, top to bottom, but I was on a kick when I started this to start my full coverage in the bottom. So yeah, I got quite a bit done. I didn't keep track of how many stitches I stitched, but I know I filled in a bunch of these blocks. I had filled in a lot of these ones, and I'm kind of trying to work from the corner out. And then I also got a bunch of this done. So I know I got at least 1,000 stitches on it, and I haven't stitched on this in February yet. Her birthday is the 21st of the month, and so around then is when I will pull this back out. And I also, you'll see, I didn't take a lot of things off the Q-snap, especially the things that I'm stitching every month. I took some of them off, but not all of them, just because it's a lot of work. And if you could see all my progress inside the Q-snap, then I just kept it there. The next piece I stitched on is Mini Realm of Enchantment. It's by Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork by Ann Stokes, and it is retired. It's no longer on the website. This is, did I say Mini Realm of Enchantment? I don't even remember. I'm stitching this for my daughter Noelle. And again, I started in the bottom right-hand corner, bottom left-hand corner, I can't tell. And this is where I got to. I'm trying to fill in the bottom right, the bottom corner, and then I'm kind of trying to stitch up because the piece is wider than it is tall. I thought if I could stitch up to the top, and then maybe I'd start going across the top. But then I also thought maybe I want to stitch this way because here's the fairy. And the fairy and the horse are the most interesting part of the piece. So I'm honestly thinking that I might stitch the fairy and the horse and just cut it and not stitch whatever these pages are over here, and just stitch the fairy and the horse and some of this green light. So I'm toying with that idea right now. We'll see. But that's kind of where I'm favoring. Maybe, I don't think I can make it a square, but I'm leaning in that direction. That way I can get it finished faster. She's 11 now. She's not gonna want fairies and unicorns for much longer. So yeah, the next piece I have to show you is the Moons of 2022 by Kathy Barrick. And I just realized I have been absolutely terrible about telling you what fabric I'm stitching on. Most of those are just on Aida. I don't really want to go back and tell you everything, so I'll probably just insert it in text along the bottom what I'm stitching it on. This is the Moons of 2022, Kathy Barrick. I said that already. Ooh, I've got a page of the pattern in there. I've been stitching this on or around the full moons just for something fun. I really enjoy stitching this. I'm just gonna say that right now. Here's where I'm at. And I've been working on the bottom here. Ooh, that's not gonna work. There we go. I did a lot in here. I had to redo the fox because he was a stitch too high, but I filled in some more of this blue, and then I filled in the whole hill over there. And I think next I might go in, and if there's a tree there or something, I might do the tree, and then I'm gonna go into the next hill. I really enjoy stitching on those hills and all these little animals. It's a lot of fun. So that's that. This I'm stitching on a 32 count even weave mystery. It's from when I very first started dyeing fabric. You can tell it was even before I had a serger because I zigzagged the edges. And it's got some little speckles and splotches and stuff. So it's really just one of those second cut fabrics. And I'm stitching with the called for silks. I kind of splurged on that when I kitted that up. Did some retail therapy and bought some silks. It's the first time I've ever stitched with silk, and it's NPI, and the colors are just gorgeous. The next piece I have to show you is a new start, and this is called Sakura Garden, and I didn't print out a cover sheet, so I'll put it up there, or maybe up there, I don't know. I'm stitching this for my son Logan. I had previously been stitching a Fortnite piece for him that I charted myself based on some artwork I found online, and he really doesn't play Fortnite anymore. He really doesn't have any interest in it. So, but he does have a very big interest in Japan and learning Japanese, and so I found this pattern for him on Etsy. Since I don't have the cover sheet, I don't know the designer, so I'll put that up on the screen too. But I got a small start, maybe about 1,000–1,500 stitches. And there's that. I'm stitching this on a 28 count piece of Lugana from Forbidden Fiber Co. It's a colorway corn silk. It's coming out a little more yellow in the camera than it is in real life, but the purpose of stitching on the yellow is because there are 30-something thousand stitches of ecru, and this was the closest fabric we had in the shop that matched ecru floss, and so I pulled out all the ecru stitches, and I'm not going to stitch them, and I'm just going to let the fabric be the background. And so there's still like 60,000 stitches that need to be stitched, but that severely reduces the amount of time. I mean, that's like, I stitch maybe 500 stitches a night if I'm lucky. So 1,000, that's like a lot of work that I'm giving up by doing that. I'm stitching at 1/1 on this 28 count corn silk. And that was all that I did in January when I started it. His birthday is the 29th. All of my kids are born in like the last week of the month. I don't know what that's about, but so the last week of the month, I pretty much just spend stitching on their projects. The next piece I have to show you was completely unplanned. This is Winter Montage by Janet Stever. It's charted by Pain Free Crafts, and I did not plan to stitch on this. I didn't even really have any plans to stitch on it all year. I started it 2 years ago, and it's the montage. There's a hashtag, I don't remember what it is, but there's one for all 4 seasons, and I started winter and spring before I fell off the wagon and got busy with model stitching and stuff. But I've seen this pop up a lot of places, and I watched Sarah at Stitchin Mommy stitching on hers the last couple of months, and it just really made me want to pick it up, and also because it's my only project that I'm doing 10 stitch on, so it goes faster. And again, I didn't write down how many stitches I stitched, but I know it's probably somewhere around 1,000 or 1,500. And I got some green in, which was nice after all these tans. I got a lot of the border, dark brown border in. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I just stitched on it 3 or 4 days before I put it away to, I think I did some model stitching, and then I brought out the next piece I'm gonna show you. So that's that. I'd like to get back to it this month. Before I start, you know, the next one that I'll pull out in the spring would be the spring montage. I'd like to get some more stitches in on that. I'm really enjoying stitching the green and having the leaves show up. The next, I think this is the last one I have to show you, is Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow by Carriage House Samplings, with also Kathy Barrick. I'm stitching this with, there's a whole group of us now. The hashtag is Halloween at HRH SAL. And we Zoom once a month or so and stitch on it. And the original group was Bobby at Pumpkin Creek Primitives, Sarah at Memphis Sarah E, and Sam from Sammy Liz. And we just met last week on Zoom and stitched on this. And Sam joined us for the first time in like a year, and that was amazing. And now we also have Big Red Stitcher and, oh my gosh, Justine, but I can't remember her username. They're joining in on it now, so that makes it fun. I am on block 11 of 12, and this is one of my focus pieces that I definitely want to finish. And I took it out for the Zoom call on Saturday, and I haven't put it away. So this is all new since I showed it on my WIP parade. So yeah, this is from our Zoom call in January and February. Plus the last few days, like last night, my husband unexpectedly took my son to jiu-jitsu, so I got an extra hour and a half or so of stitching time, and I got all of this done yesterday, plus some of this, and so that was really exciting. And I'm maybe a third of the way done with this block. So yeah, there's that. And that is everything I've been stitching on for the last 6 weeks, and pretty much everything I plan to continue stitching on for the next however long it takes me to come back. Hopefully I'll get to come back after market, because I've never gotten to do a post-market FlossTube before, because it's always just too crazy. But yeah, speaking of market, I want to show you what I'm taking. We mostly sell fabric at market, and we have 7 new colors that we're bringing this year. But the most exciting part is that 5 of the colors are what we're calling the throwback collection, and this particular throwback collection is 90s inspired. 2024 is the 15th anniversary of Forbidden Fiber Co., and it started out dyeing yarn in my kitchen, dyeing fiber in my kitchen in New Jersey. And I still remember trudging through out the backyard down into the basement to spin out the fiber and eventually yarn in my washing machine, and I would hang it to dry over the deck. And it was super fun in the snow, and then I would hang it to dry in the living room, but I'm still trudging down because I was scared of our basement steps. They were really, really creepy. So I'd go all the way around through the Bilko doors. But anyway, we've come a long, long way, and I am coming up on the end of the lease on my building. Thank goodness, because I could go on and on. It's been a nightmare the last 4 years. And so I'm now looking for a new space to move us into. There are 7 of us now. And it's an exciting time. So fabric, throwback collection. That is the origin of the throwback collection. So we try to do as much of a rainbow as we could, like giving a variety, but still being able to provide enough in each color for shops to get. So the first color is called Ultra Pink, and it's showing a little more yellow on camera than it actually is. It is a very bright pink. Think if you're from the 90s, think hot pink and black, roller skates, all that fun stuff. This is called Ultra Pink. And I'm showing everything to you on linen just because that's what I grabbed. So there's that. And then we have this highlighter yellow called Glow Stick. And I just see so many fun summer projects on this. Flowers, spring projects with lots of flowers would be beautiful. This green one, it's coming out a little more yellow green on camera. It's really a minty, ooh, I think a cloud just went in front of the sun because the color changed a little bit. It's kind of like a minty melon green, and it's called Cucumber Melon. Because if you know, you know, Cucumber Melon was the scent of the 90s. And actually, when I came up with the name, because we were looking at names, we were trying to find like a 90s slang word for money or something like that, and nothing was just working. And when I said, oh, Cucumber Melon, Kelly said, hey, I showered with that last night. So I'm pretty sure everybody knows Cucumber Melon from Bath & Body Works. This blue is a really nice, it's pretty neutral. It doesn't really lend warm or cool blue. It's called Electric. And this just gives me all the sky vibes. So any outdoor scene would look amazing on this. And then the last color in the throwback collection is Black Light. Because if you didn't have a lava lamp, you had a black light in the 90s for sure. And those were the 2 names that we debated on, but we went with Black Light because, you know, black lights emit purple. And that's what this made me think of. So yeah, those are the 5 colors in the throwback collection. We have them on Aida, Lugana, and linen. If you like any of them, contact your LNS and ask them to get some for you. We'll have tons of it at market, and they can also pre-order. Okay, we also did 2 neutrals because samplers, I mean, I stitch a lot of samplers, so they're a thing, a big thing. So we have to do some neutrals. And this one has been the most popular one so far. It's called Lunar, and it's got a neutral gray in it and this tannish, taupish brown. And I will tell you, I Charity dyed it, but I inspired it, I guess, because I'm going to use this to stitch Cottage Garden Sampling's new Fabulous House series. And I think I'm going to stitch them on 46 count so that they'll be about 5 1/4 inches square. And then I can put them in a little 6x6 frame and switch them out over the year. You know, it'll take me like 5 years to finish them, but eventually I'll have all 12 to switch out throughout the year. And that's what I created this for. So, but it's a really great neutral. It can go with either browns or grays or any kind of floss colors you have. So yeah. And the last color is this Barely There. It's not, you can't even tell the color. If I put it up to a white paper, you can kind of see how it, I don't know if you can't even see that. So you'll just have to take my word for it. It's slightly pink. It's called Vintage Doily. And it's just the softest of soft colors. And I can just see just about anything on this. There's just the hint of modeling because we call it zhuzhing is our technique. Instead of crumpling up and pouring dye all over it and stuff like that, we call it zhuzhing. We lay it in the dye. Anyway, this is a gorgeous neutral that will work for anything. Okay, so that's all the fabric we're bringing. And then I have 2 patterns that we're bringing with thread packs. And also they're both stitched on Babbling Brook, which is an existing colorway we have. And we're also bringing lots of that. So this one is called Where the Sunflowers Are. And we did a Sunflowers mystery kit last fall. And I'm gonna tell you where this comes from because this is my cross stitch rendition of my house. We have a greenhouse with a gray roof, 2 stories with cedar shutters and a cedar porch. And then the top is painted a dark green and the bottom is painted a light green. And we have the board and batten. So that's where you can see the stripes on the bottom. And then last year, if you've been around for a while, you know I love to garden. Last year, along our property line, I planted a row of sunflowers that I think was 50 feet long. And I took like 6 different varieties of sunflowers and I mixed them all up in a bowl and I dug a trench and dropped them all in and then watered them. And we had a pumpkin patch and winter squash patch and then the sunflowers all along the property line. I'm pointing over there because that's the side of the house. I'm facing that side. And my favorite thing to do in the late summer was to come home and I'd drive up the driveway and I'd look at the sunflowers and it would just make me so happy. And so the first thing I did before I even came inside to say hi to my kids, if they were home from school yet, was to go out and check out which sunflowers had started blooming, which ones were done blooming, to see if the birds had started eating the seeds yet. I mean, I was obsessed with it. And so that's where this came from. And then I have a little sun up there. So yeah. So like I said, we'll have the fabric, we'll have the patterns, and we'll have thread packs for that at market. And then the last pattern we're gonna have there is called The Great Outdoors. And this is, I say this all the time, but this was one of my favorite patterns that I've designed. This was for our summer adventure box last year. And it was all about celebrating the great outdoors. And the quote, live in the sunshine, drink in the wild air, swim in the sea. It's actually, I manipulated a quote from a poem. I want to say it was Thoreau, but I can't remember for sure. But I basically, when I put the quote up there, I would have had to have the sea above the land because I think it was live in the sunshine, swim in the sea, drink in the wild air. And that didn't work for me because I needed the hot air balloon to be above the land. So I switched it around a little bit. And then I'm kind of a little bit obsessed with mushrooms ever since starting Dark Queen of the Earth by Autumn Lane Stitchery. So I had to put some mushrooms in there and some little acorns. And yeah, that's the Great Outdoors. So again, both of these are stitched on Babbling Brook, and I will have thread packs for both of them at market. And then also, I'm so excited. Luminous Fiber Arts, Misty, is releasing 2 patterns at market that use our fabric, Honey Blush and Toasted Coconut. And so we will have lots of those fabrics there. for your LNSs to buy. And then Ardith Design has 2 patterns coming out at market that use our floss, and we'll have those thread packs there. Sweetwing Design, Sweetwing Studio, I collaborated with her on a new design that is being released at market. It's called For Such a Time as This, and I chose one of my favorite verses in Esther and gave her some thread, and she designed the most beautiful pattern. I'll see if I can put pictures of them all up here. I'm not sure if Ardith Design has released hers yet, but I know that Misty and Susan at Sweetwing have released theirs. And then also Diane at Silver Creek Samplers also is releasing a pattern. I can't remember the name of it. I'll post a picture up there. It's really cool. It's inspired by Harriet Tubman, and so we'll have thread packs for that also. So if you want to stitch any of those, tell your LNS to stop by our booth in it's room 326, and they can pick up the thread packs. They can pre-order. We're taking fabric pre-orders until February 21st, and then we'll have everything at market if they just want to stop by. If you made it that far, thank you. Made it this far, thank you. I'm so happy to be back. It's I feel like I've been doing this all along and I never even left, so that's pretty exciting. And hopefully I'll be back after market for a market recap and some more stitching. And yeah, thanks for joining me. Thanks for sticking with me as I have disappeared for the last year, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.